next player, who's going to be City, who plays Protoss. So this is going to be a Zerg versus Protoss that we're going to be heading into. But before we do that, we do want to give you a little bit of information for those of you who are just joining us. This is the StarCraft 2 Community Team League, and this is a league that's totally based around the community, trying to get as much community support and interaction as possible. So we appreciate you guys being in chat, talking with us, talking with each other. We definitely appreciate that. We are moving into the finals here, though. We are wrapping up. This is the last of the round of 8 games that we have here.
Yeah, we have a double header tonight.
Double header, yeah. So 2 matches going to be going on. And if you would be so kind as to hit us up on Twitter, let us know what you think of the stream. If you have any constructive criticism or anything that you wanted to let us know that you particularly enjoyed, we would love to hear about it. We do make changes based on what people are getting back to us, and the quality of the stream has benefited for it. So thank you so much for your feedback. We also want to give a huge shout out to Das Keyboard, who is the sponsor of the league. They are putting up 5 keyboards to the winner of the tournament for the winning team. So those keyboards will be sent out to the winners of the global finals, which will be between the North America League finals and the European League finals. And yeah, so big shout out to them. Thank you so much. Please, if you have a moment, send them a tweet and thanking them for supporting esports as well.
I just pasted a sample tweet for you in chat. Just copy that, open your Twitter, paste it in a tweet, add a little heart or a special message of your own at the end. They do appreciate those messages because it really shows them that their investment in the league is worthwhile, and will encourage them to continue it. So do us a big favor and do that, and I think we've got Game 3 queued up and ready to go, my friend.
All right, let's jump on in then.
Let us do that, as we are going to be moving into game number 3 on Akalon Waste, wearing the red trunks from YMCMB, taking a commanding victory last game. It is Guitar Cheese.
And in the top left corner, representing Team NRG, trying to knock out Guitar Cheese with his Protoss capabilities, it is City.
See you later, Arctic Fox. Thanks for joining us. Give the channel a follow so that you'll be informed when we have our big happenings on Sunday. It'll be us going live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time with a pre-show, which will be a league summary, league wrap-up. Should be some good, fun information. So do tune in for that, followed by all the games.
And there will be lots of games. We are planning a full day worth of games, and our players for the respective teams are getting themselves ready for a long day of games as well.
Pretty early scout here from City, putting down his pylon out in the front and going to see if there's any 6-pool shenaniganry going on. This is pretty standard fare from Protoss, as that when you do a pylon put out in the middle for a eventual expansion, you're just so open to these 6-pools. So you need to know if something early is coming right away. Oh wow, but look at that, a decently timed pool, definitely a pool before a hatch here.
Yeah, and that's a little bit safer. I think in this particular engagement, however, we're going to be seeing some early aggression with the placement of this pool, as typically we do see that hatch going down first on a map this size.
And City did not see it either. But City may be getting a hint of what's going on, because he is going to opt to put down that forge first.
And both players playing very smart and very safe. You know, these are both very cautious builds, not really taking any early economic risks in trying to get that base out a little bit earlier to get a little bit more units.
City still hasn't gotten in the back there to see that that pool is finished.
Oh, you're absolutely right. No,
that
probe did get back up in there too.
He's now putting down a cannon in the middle, will be followed by a gateway, but you know, putting down this forge first and this cannon first is, you know, it actually does set your build back quite a bit, because if you even if you just put down the gateway before the cannon, I mean, that can get your cybernetics core out and whatever tech you choose so much faster. So City definitely playing it safe here.
Both players definitely playing it safe, and I think that even though City wasn't able to scout that spawning pool, he absolutely knows that it's there now. Didn't even need to really see it. He did check. I think he did see that there is no gas, and so that is good information, as he knows that speed is not on its way just yet.
And I think Atarchi's here now, opting to put down his third base, scouting around with the Lings. He had this Overlord over the natural, sees the timing of the cannon and the gateway, so he knows that City did not go for the ultra economic build and went for more of a safe build, so he's now just not going to make units and expand behind it.
Oh, but City does scout this third base and is putting a pylon down behind it. And I don't think that Guitar Cheese has seen that this probe is there.
He does not. He cannot see that pylon at all, so we'll have to see if he sees this. And if he doesn't, this is going to be well timed to be a cannon rush here to take out this third base. And as you know, if you get this third base down as Protoss, that puts you way ahead, because if you can keep the bases even, it just gives you such an economic advantage.
So these two cannons do go down. They will be finishing up at around the same time this hatchery goes down, which is exactly what he wants, as it's not going to give Guitar Cheese an option for canceling it.
And Guitar Cheese went around and scouted behind the hatchery here as he put it down, but didn't do any further scouting. iPhone
and sure enough, the cannon and the hatchery finish about simultaneously, and that hatchery is doomed to fall. There is just not the units that can take care of that at the moment.
Absolutely. iPhone Fan 2 asking what this tourney is. This is a StarCraft 2 Community Team League Round of 8 playoffs.
There is a Stargate coming down for City now, so he is going to be switching into that yummy air.
And this is a great play, too. I mean, given that these cannons are guaranteed to take down this third base, City's going to have the time to do this, because now Guitar Cheese has to spend money on getting his economy to be even better on 2 bases. Oh, but the Broodlings do make their best effort to take down the shields of this cannon, and that is all they get. They get 1 HP, so they did damage Gallegation.
Guitar Cheese does get an Overlord in, and does see that that Stargate is chrono boosting out a Void Ray. Or, I'm sorry, an Oracle. It's so hard to tell just based on those
yeah.
outlines. I think everything looks like a Void Ray when they're just cooking in there.
Carriers look a lot like a Void Ray. Oracles are a little bit shorter and stubbier, but I definitely agree with that statement. But the Oracle is going to be moving out. I personally don't like Oracle as much against Zerg because the Queens are pretty strong against them, but if you've got that control and that micro, you can still get a lot done with an Oracle against Zerg.
Although it's going to be difficult to get much done with both Queens and Spore Crawlers, as both are finished in the main and the natural, as this Oracle is now heading into the main.
Yeah, we'll see what he can get done here with it. He's gonna... Any damage, really, that he can get done with this is huge for him, because he's so far ahead as it is already. But now Ling's coming out to try and take out these cannons, but these cannons are pretty well positioned, so he's going to lose a good number of Lings here just trying to take these out.
And these are not speed Lings either, these are slow Lings.
And he actually went for the cannon first too. I'm surprised he didn't just go for the pylon, because you kill the pylon and both cannons go down.
He couldn't get the surface area, I don't think, on the pylon as much as he would have liked.
Look at the kills on that cannon though. 15 kills for that one, and I'm sure the other cannon had almost an equal number, so that's a lot of killed Zerglings.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Guitar Cheese is opting for some Roach play now. He is getting the speed finally, his +1/+1 for the ground units, and I think that he has, yeah, he does have Burrow as well. So that is going to be super useful. Roaches with Burrow are definitely a lot of fun.
Hallucinated Phoenix making its way in to get some scouting done, and it is going to survive long enough to make it into the main base, but he is going to see the Roach Warren, and he is going to see a macro hatch going down, so... Guitar Cheese going to be in a position of his opponent knowing exactly what's going on. Void Ray and Oracle coming in. Oh, nice. That's a great idea, using the Oracle to detect the creep tumors to take a few of those out.
Yeah, I mean, that's an effective way to limit his opponent's creep spread, but there are just so many queens here that Guitar Cheese is kind of not really going to mind all that much.
The big news is here, the switch behind this for City is going to be a bit of a surprise to Guitar Cheese. Guitar Cheese, I don't believe, and let's check, but I don't believe he knows anything about these Colossus. Oh, now he does, just as the Overlord comes in.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's just had great timing with those Overlords heading in. I mean, he's sacking them, but the information that they're gathering is just so vital. And sure enough, we see a Spire going down immediately behind that.
Yeah, and I was concerned for Guitar Cheese that if he didn't see this, I mean, he saw the Stargate, so if he prepares for that and doesn't get back in to see that he's not really making a ton out of the Stargate and switching to Colossus, I mean, that would be huge for Guitar Cheese.
Now, those queens that were at the front spreading creep were also the queens that are in charge of spreading larvae around the bases, so they did go without the extra eggs being hatched for a little while.
Guitar Cheese put down 2 Evo chambers here in front, and he hasn't done a darn thing with them so far. They've been there quite a while.
Well, he does have the +1/+1 upgrade for ground. or the attack, the melee attack, and the melee armor.
Okay, I did miss that. So he does have some burrowed banelings here trying to make a push at this third, but between the sentries and force fields, not getting it done. But the cannon pops, so those Zerglings will be detected.
And he's going to run those out of there. And this is, I mean, this is a really great defense here by City right now.
Yeah, I mean, City looking really good. He's in control of this game, but look at these creep tumors, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But that's what he needs. I mean, with this type of a push that's all ground, he needs to have a lot of creep spread so that he has the speed advantage.
And he's definitely making the creep highway up the center and now putting down a fourth base as well, taking out these rocks. So he's trying his best to just macro up here and get as much going as he can, but you know, City now sending out another Phoenix scout, so he'll know what's going on once again.
And he is going to scout that fourth base as well, so both players just doing really great scouting.
Guitarchis is making a ton of drones. He just had 11 more go in production. If we look at the unit stab, he's at 67, so once these pop, he's going to be over 75. But City, man, he knows what's up. He's making 2 Phoenix at a time, has 3 Stargates, has the, what's this called again? I always forget. Aeon Pulse Crystals. So he's going to be well prepared against the Mutalisks as they come out here.
He is, and the Mutalisks are also going to have that +1 upgrade, though, so they're going to be able to do some damage, but that range is just so tough to deal with, especially with the speed on those Phoenix.
Yeah, +2/+2 coming out now for the ground units as well as +1 air, like you said. It'll be interesting to see if he goes for an infestation pit here soon to get the hive, to get that 3/3 for the Zerglings, to start getting some Zerglings or Banelings and doing some kind of bust. But I mean, this is a really interesting army from City here. He's got 3 standing Colossus, now has 7 Phoenix, so not a lot of gateway units.
Guitarchis does have some Mutalisks in the third base of City, but those Phoenix are moving in, and they are getting so many kills off as that range upgrade has completed. And great micro here, too, trying to keep those damaged ones more towards the back. Every single one of those Mutalisks falls.
He does lose a couple, but I mean, there's just not much you can do with Mutalisks against ranged Phoenix. I mean, you can make some Corruptors, but then as Protoss, you just start cranking out Void Rays.
And so now, City, feeling like he has a bit of an advantage, is going to be moving out. He does have Void Rays, he has Colossus, he has Zealots. I mean, this is a very diverse and strong army that he's got here.
Guitarchis has 11 Corruptors popping, so I mean, Corruptors do a ton of damage to these Phoenix as they are armored, so the Phoenix don't do much damage to them. But if he target fires these Colossus, that's going to put a big hit in City's army, because that's probably an equal food amount of Colossus as anything else, almost.
No, I agree. And that will definitely give free reign to the ground units as well. But this is what Guitarchis is going to have, is he is supply blocked now. Force fields go down, and that is zoning out a lot of these units. The Corruptors are not getting a whole lot done. Ground units are moving in for the surround, but City is just reinforcing here. The Colossus getting so much damage done. Phoenix just lifting up roaches. This is going heavily in City's favor right now.
Yeah, City is just walking all over Guitarchis right now. These Colossus did not have any damage done to them at all.
Oh, but now they have been abandoned by their Phoenix protectors. Corruptors move in. They do get one down. They are going to get another one down. Oh, but they start targeting the Phoenix instead. So a second, three, and now the fourth Colossus do go down, and it looks like all these Phoenix are going to die too. So suddenly Guitarchis is able to hold this back and reclaim his territory.
Yeah, Guitarchi's able to clean this up, and he's ahead in the food count. Looking at the army supply, it's fairly even. I mean, Guitarchi's is ahead by over 10, almost 20. So this swing back could be a big deal for City. Hopefully he's well prepared for it, but these Corruptors just tearing apart these Phoenix now, and they're going to start taking damage on the Colossus once they move in, but that's a lot of roaches.
And there's no Colossus left, though. There was one that was misrallied a little bit, and that got picked off before he even got back to the gate. So now there's just really Zealots and Void Rays.
Yeah, I don't think that... I think City was going for the throat there. I don't think he expected Guitarchis to be able to hold that off, especially since he was so far behind, but he just had the right unit composition swelled with Lings right when he needed to. He had the roaches right when he needed them, and those Corruptors soaking up some damage there as well.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, he had the economy and he had the larva to lose that initial army that probably wasn't the best composition, but then smartly reinforced with the exact composition that he needed to make that hold.
And to be honest, too, I mean, we saw City using the Phoenix to just largely negate the roaches by lifting them up, and when you've got those Corruptors in there, that even if the Phoenix, even if they don't do much damage to the Phoenix, that just basically says if you lift anything up, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as we all know, Phoenix cannot shoot while they are graviton beaming things.
Guitar Cheese choosing to get Infestors at this point. He's got the Pathogen Gland upgrade about 3/4 of the way done, so that will be wrapping up just before these Infestors pop.
A Dark Shrine is coming down, as well as a Fleet Beacon, so I'm wondering if we're going to see just advanced air upgrades, or if we are going to see some carrier shares. We've seen so far in the SC2CTL that carriers are pretty good against Zerg.
But it looks like Guitar Cheese is feeling fairly confident in his army at the moment. He's going to be walking around trying to see if there's anything, any shenaniganry going on, and it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a push here too now that these Infestors are joining up with the main army.
I mean, now's the time when Guitar Cheese needs a push because he's at 200, so the longer these mid-game units sit around these roaches, and the weaker he gets, so he needs to get damage done right now. But baiting the prismatic alignment on Void Rays, that's going to be a big deal because all of these units would die so much faster with that.
So now Guitar Cheese is moving into this left base, and the army is here to defend, but it's just the positioning is not so good, and sure enough, Infested Terrans getting dropped down to soak up all that front damage. Hydra's in the back doing lots of damage as well, but City is reinforcing from both sides, and those Void Rays are doing a lot of damage still, and Guitar Cheese is forced to move out of here.
Yeah, I mean, City about to have +3 weapons finish up, so his Zealots are going to be doing a ton of damage, so Guitar Cheese is going to have to get something to deal with those Zealots. I mean, the Infestors will do a decent bit, but he gets higher numbers of Void Rays, and the Roaches aren't going to be able to do very much. The Infestors would be pretty good if he can get them all bunched up, but it's really hard to get in that position where you can get those money fungals down.
Yeah, and part of the problem with that push too was that he had a lot of Hydralisks and a lot of Roaches, but he only had the +1 missile attack upgrade, so they weren't doing as much damage as they could have been, especially compared to the +3 ground attack that City had to meet him with.
Yeah, if you look at the upgrades, City has +3, as we said, and +2/+2 just now coming down for Guitar Cheese. I mean, upgrades are going to be the difference in this, I think.
Well, so far they definitely have been in that last engagement, but you know, Guitar Cheese is biding his time. He is getting those upgrades, so with the economy that he has and the aggression that he's been able to put on, I think that he can bide his time to get the upgrades that he needs.
Yeah, I mean,
but DTs are moving forward now. He does have Overseers, so he is going to be able to spot those, and the army is in the right position. I think that City was able to spot that and is getting out of there before he loses those DTs.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be all that effective, but a small Zealot run-by coming down here, but Guitar Cheese has the Spidey Sense, sends his Zerglings down, and all these Zealots are going to get surrounded and die here. But
there was an Infestor that got a little over-eager and was picked off by Zealots and DTs that are now heading back over to Guitar Cheese's top right base, but he is moving his army as he does see it coming.
Yep, that's not going to work out for City. City was hoping to get some damage done with these DTs, but so far I don't think he's done much at all. But now moving out through the middle is Immortals, Archons, and Voiders. This is a pretty scary looking army from City.
Yeah, and City played that really well. He saw that the entire army moved over there and decided that that was his chance to try and get some positioning on this army. Oh, but great fungal going down, and those are chain fungals. Not such great positioning on those Hydralisks.
Not getting that fungal on those Void Rays.
All of those Void Rays. So now the Immortals are going down. There are still some Hydras left and tons of Infestors. They are dropping their Infested Terrans, which are now popping and keeping those Void Rays locked down, so they are going to get cleaned up by this.
A Zealot run-by coming down at the third base of Guitar Cheese, but there's a lot of Spine Crawlers here, largely protecting that, so not a lot of damage done. They're going to move into the natural and see an Ultralisk down there, so there's going to be Ultralisk coming, but right now 25 Hydras, 40 Zerglings. Guitar Cheese is remaxing with a hugely powerful army.
Yeah, while that aggression that he did there did go out in his favor, he did end up losing pretty much everything except for the Infestors, but that's okay because the Infestors are the expensive unit in that engagement. He did not want to lose those.
Oh, but City being very smart too, knowing the Ultras are on the way, switching to Tempest. So 3 Tempests going to be coming out at a time for City. But I mean, the question is, can he get up enough? Because he still has to have a really good Gateway and Robo army to deal with this number of Lings. This is a huge number of Lings. He needs a lot of Colossus, a lot of Zealots, and Storm ideally, but he hasn't even started Templar tech.
And Guitarchi's doing a really great job of, I mean, both players doing a great job of doing very different types of tech as the game moves forward. They see what their opponent is doing, and they're trying to make the appropriate tech to deal with it. And now these DTs getting a couple of Infestor kills. They're going to continue to move forward as there is no Overseer here.
Infested Terrans thrown down under those Tempests. It's going to force them to push back unless they want to die, but one is getting low. He does get to pull those back, but the base taken out by Guitarchis on here. That's the biggest news.
And that is what he wanted. So he's heading right on out.
But all the huge upgrades now coming down all at once for Guitarchis. Chitinous Plating, 3-3. Adrenal Glands. So, I mean, there's going to be some hugely scary Zerglings on the map, as well as +3 air attack. And a huge number of Corruptors.
And now we see Guitarchis is going to be taking that upgrade lead, as while Protoss has ground weapons level 3, armor isn't even started, and he only has he has air weapons level 2, so a little bit behind on those upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, Guitarchi's positioning has been fantastic. He's allowed himself to stay in this game, and he's killed off the decent meaty units of City, so City has not been able to move out. He's had to stay back and defend. So this has allowed him to really get back in the game, and like we saw those engagements were so bad for Guitarchis for a while, but now, I mean, all these red upgrades here. Red is a scary, scary color.
And I mean, this is kind of the name of the game for Zerg in a lot of this matchup is try and survive for the early game, try and survive for the mid game, but once you hit the late game, now you can start putting on a lot of pressure, and that's what we're seeing exactly happen right now.
Guitarchis is so spread out. I'm surprised that City, I mean, he has Robos, and he hasn't been making units out of them. I'm surprised, well, he's making a Colossus now, but I'm surprised that he hasn't been making a Warp Prism to do some kind of harassment.
But Guitarchi's just keeping this army right outside City's base. He's trying to prevent any run-bys, prevent any further expansion, keep him locked down on that 4 base.
Oh, look at this army of City out here. He's got 6 Tempests, 5 Archons, a few Colossus. So, I mean, City could get back into this, but right now Guitarchi's definitely looking great. Oh, and Neural Parasite going down for the Infestors now. That would be awesome to see him. And look at the number of Infestors he has, too.
I mean, why wouldn't he have that many Infestors too? Like, he's got 17. They've been working great for him, and he's just going to continue to resupply with them. Neural Parasite makes a lot of sense, as most of those have very high energy, and the Tempests are going to be prime targets for that.
Yeah, and Tempests are so good against Colossus in PvP. If he can Neural Parasite the Tempest and kill the Colossus, that just is a huge victory for him.
And that was a bait right there with those Zerglings pulling this army a little bit out of position, getting a fungal down, trying to engage somewhat there, but decided he didn't like the positioning after all. Guitarchis pulls back, but was able to snipe down, or at least get the cancel on that base that was going down.
And Neural Parasite is now finished. +3 air attack about to finish as well. +3 melee and range about to be done. 4 ultras on the way. Guitarchis' army is turning into the death ball of Zerg, I would say.
Yeah, he's definitely been very effective with these Infestors, despite their range nerf at the beginning of Heart of the Swarm, which frankly was needed, but mastering the new mechanics.
What's he got in mind here? He's getting 2 Infestors out front. Oh, getting
just
some...
trying to get those probe kills as he's remote mining, and he's chaining those fungals. Sure enough, he does lose the 2 Infestors, but does get a lot of probe kills.
Look at Guitarchis' bank now. He's got he's gonna have 3K in the bank, minerals and gas here before too long. He's just mining on so many bases. City is not able to take a 5th base, and with his natural mined out, main mined out, the 3rd basically mined out. He's mining on 1 base right now.
And that's why he's really trying to push to get this other base, as he needs the income. But this army is in such huge supply, and Guitarchi's kind of just 1Aing his way in here, definitely getting fungals down. Oh, there goes the Neural Parasite, but the Tempest does die. Oh, he went for the Archon, so he's got the Archon now. But wow, Guitarchi's taking heavy losses here. Oh, huge Neural Parasites on all those Archons.
Oh, Archons are such meaty units, and GG. Wow, that was a very different PvZ from what we've seen. Really, that was one of the funnest games to watch that I've seen in a while, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it was definitely really neat. An aggressive game in the mid game and onward, but both players really able to have good defenses and able to make it to the late game with large tech and just great decision making in terms of unit compositions. But in the end, Guitarchis was able to move forward and snipe bases and take out critical supply lines and that's what locked the game up for him.
So Darkness is going